Hey, welcome back to Lesson from the Mats. I'm your host, Jakar Warapalo. Today's guest is someone who's put real time into the game, not just training, but living it. She has over 10 years of experience in Muay Thai, 5 years of experience of coaching, and has stepped in the ring 22 times, which is by far mind blowing to still hear. Building her perspective not only as a fighter, but as a mentor and a leader in the space. From the grind of training camps to the responsibility of guiding others, she brings a well rounded understanding of what Muay Thai teaches you physically and mentally. I'm excited to sit down with Erin Clayton. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So let's start off. Let's build this foundation. How did Muay Thai come into your life?
Yeah, that's always a good question. So I started when I was about 22. My ex-husband, Kyle, who still care about him deeply and we're still friends.
Okay.
He had done jujitsu for a while, for a couple years, and when I met him, he was just doing jujitsu, but he was a personal trainer. And when we started dating, he started training me, and like I was getting stronger. I had played soccer like my whole life and some
Okay.
other sports, but
Yeah.
Um, so I was like, this is cool, I'm getting stronger, but I'm kind of missing like a fun activity that's like where I didn't need to compete in anything, but I just like doing things with other people. And
Mhm.
like weightlifting, I was like, this is boring, it's just me and you or me by myself. And he had done jiu-jitsu, but he was like, well, I tried Muay Thai for a little bit, like maybe you'd like it, like it involves kicking, you played soccer, maybe. So I actually started, yeah, I started taking these rec classes at UCLA. I had just like graduated UCLA and I had no money, and they had such a good deal if you're an alumni to use their gym. And the Muay Thai classes were like $25 for like 10 weeks and like two classes a week, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Um and I was broke as shit. So I did that, and I did that for like about a year, and I like fell in love with it. My first coach was this guy Francisco. So if he randomly hears this, I haven't talked to him in a very, very long time, but yeah, he was super passionate about it. He had a couple fights. He was also he was another UCLA alumni, and yeah, about a year in, and then I found like two other people I was training with there had talked about my old gym, the Thai Boxing Institute. They introduced me
Yeah.
to it, and then from there, I just like fell in love with it. I was like, you know, Victor Acosta, the head coach and owner, just I remember on the first day like invited me to come spar, and I was like, ugh, I was like so nervous. But anyway, so once I got to TBI, like that was when I like really fell in love with it. Still no intention to compete. I was always like, this is just fun for a workout. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I got started.
Okay. So once you got into it, what kept you past the phase where most people kind of fall out of?
That's a good question. Well, TBI was like, I mean, it still is a very small community.
Hmm.
It's in Mar Vista, California. It's like near Venice and Santa Monica in LA.
Yeah.
And it was extremely welcoming. Like I said, my first day, I had only sparred a little bit beforehand, but Coach Vic invited me to spar. On Saturdays was big sparring, and then after everyone would like grab beers next door and we just sit and watch fights in the afternoon, and
Right
like
on.
it was just such a welcoming environment, and like the other girls really like brought me in too. And so then I just started basically going every day. And then eventually I was getting good enough where then I was Jeannie Wynn, like my best friend training partner for many years. I became her punching bag, even though she fought at like 105 to 110 pounds, and I fight at like 135, 140. But she just beat my ass for like a year. And yeah, I just like I saw her fight, and then once I was able to like train with her a lot, I was like, maybe I can do this.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I came to my coach and was like, I'd like to try a fight. And when I did my first fight, I was no joke. I was like, I'm never fighting again, even though I won. Like, and it was
Okay.
a TKO, but I still was like, that was the hardest thing in my life preparing for this. I don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And then like a couple months later, I was like, oh, I should try that. And so it basically had been like that many times. Every fighter I feel like can tell you there's points in your fight camps where you just go, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
And then you fight whether you win or lose. Then after you're like, "Ah, maybe I should do it again." Yeah.
You know, So, like I said in the intro, you have 22 fights, and that comes
Mm.
with a lot of experience. And so, what has changed the most from your first fight to your most recent fight?
Okay, that's a good question. Yeah, the first fight was really just like, can I do this? And I would say that that was a lot of my first like 0 to like maybe 7, 8 fights. And then it became like, how do I become like one of the better people at this?
Mm, okay.
And um yeah, and then like I felt like I was constantly trying to prove myself until like probably like fights like 14, 15, and then now it's been like, how can I compete in a way where I'm like, I still love Muay Thai, like, and maintain that love for it.
Hmm.
Um and it's not really a question of now like, can I do this? Because I've done it 22 times, so
Yeah.
I can. It's now a question of just like, it's more of like a question of, I feel like I'm at the point where I'm like, what can I gain like every camp that will like overall just help me be like better at Muay Thai. So
Okay.
like, if that makes sense, like, I don't know, I feel like every camp you learn something new,
Yeah.
where I personally feel like right now I'm not coaching, but like, I do want to get back to coaching.
Okay.
Um and I always feel like now I'm at the point where I'm like trying to gain stuff where I'm like, well, how can that make me better coach? Like, how can I
Yeah.
then pass this on to other people? You know? So, better coach, better training partner. I feel like at this point I'm competing to just like be a better martial artist?
Yeah. Kind of just like being a better practitioner, just being a like improving the overall lifestyle as a martial artist.
Yeah.
And so then I'll ask you this: did you ever hit a plateau or a moment where you kind of questioned continuing?
Oh man, so many times. Um I got like a shoulder injury in 2023.
Ooh.
And it's like a bone spur in my AC joint. And it was like so horrible. Couldn't even run because like the shaking of
Mm,
like my shoulder was like it's just so much pain. So um definitely question then. I definitely had like last year, because I haven't fought since March last year, and like I moved from LA to Colorado. Like I had some big changes happen.
yeah.
And yeah, last year after I fought, I really was like, should I keep fighting? And I had did a tournament where I went 1-1. I got TKO in the first fight. I went extremely close split decision in the second. So it wasn't like, oh, I got my ass completely beat and was
Yeah.
like, should I keep doing this? It was just more like, it was weird. It was like when I fought, I didn't have nerves. It like took a lot for me to like get the nerves, and I feel like you need nerves to be able to fight. So
Mhm.
I kind of had to take a step back and be like, should I keep doing this? Should I not? And so um yeah, and that was a lot of like personal life getting in the way too. So not in the way, sorry, personal life happening,
Yeah.
and like it's hard to balance. Like fighting takes a lot out of you emotionally, and life also happens.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you do both is very hard.
Very true.
So I did take this past year to like just coach more, enjoy, and then I moved, and then now I've been like, okay, I'm gonna like commit to fighting again, at least for like another year, and we'll
Okay.
see how I feel.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
like check in like a year from now and be like, all right, this is what happened. This is where I've gotten so
Yeah.
far. Yeah. So let me hit you with this in. So what does fight week actually feel like for you? Like mentally, emotionally? Because I know it's a very euphoric feeling to go to not just like to win, but that whole training camp, that whole process is a very unique feeling as well. So what does fight week feel like for you?
Yeah. Um, Usually the last sparring session for me, whatever the last hard sparring session is always when I'm like, oh my God, I've made it through a fight camp again. Um, so there's that euphoric feeling where I'm like, oh my God, like the bulk of this hard work is done.
Yeah.
I can put a little bow on it. I've done what I've needed to do, you know. So the rest of the week is like, I mean, I've spent probably like the last 2 to 3 weeks doing a lot of visualization, like
Mhm.
when I'm at home alone. Jump roping is usually when I'll visualize the fight a lot. And my visualization involves like from when I weigh in to like when the end of the fight. Like I try and think about it, like all of it. So like a lot of that last week is still just like visualizing a lot, obviously still training, but not crazy
Yeah.
sort of deloading. So it's really just like honing in my focus. And like this is like really like was it masochistic to say, but like I enjoy like the last like weight cut like
Okay.
piece where you're like there's something about like not eating and then like not drinking water. Like it's very like it's a weirdly like for me weirdly like kind of spiritual feeling where I'm just like,
Okay.
okay, now I've like yeah, I don't know how to explain it. To me, it's horrible, it sucks, but it's like this weird like euphoric suffering where you're like just yeah, you're like all I have to focus on right now is making weight and then going in and fighting. Like I think that's the piece. I then like I don't think about work. I don't
Yeah.
think about my personal life. At that
Yeah.
point, I've just put that all aside so I get to have like this one focus coming up. So for
Yes.
me, I yeah, it's just like honing in that focus and I get to like put the rest of my life on pause.
And my bad, for I didn't mean to like cut you off. I guess I was excited to just say like
Yeah,
it's kind of like you're zoning in on the I don't
the
want to say
task at hand.
yeah, the task at hand, not like the end game, but the task at hand.
Mhm.
Interesting. So,
Yeah.
were you ever scared before stepping into the ring?
I'm scared every single time. There's not been a time like you need some level of fear. I think it's totally necessary to be able to fight well as the appropriate level of fear. My thing is I'm always like I am afraid, but like um I have like faith that things will be okay. I have faith in my training. I have faith that I know how to defend myself. I have faith that I know how to attack. It's like yeah, the fear is there, but it's like yeah, I just look at it and I'm like, well, I've I have done everything I can to prepare for this moment. So yes, I am afraid, but I'm going to do it anyways.
You know, you saying that it makes me think about a friend of mine who like trains out in Greenville, South Carolina, and his go-to phrase is "fuck it, let's ride." And I feel like that's
Yeah,
you know that's what you kind of got to be like. All
right,
right,
yeah.
you know, fuck it, you know, we're here, let's ride. Like,
Well, the other thing too is like you're getting your hands around even after like weighing, I'm like you can't back out at that
yeah,
point. That's just like anyone who's made it to the point of weighing in, I'm like, you literally have to fight. Like you
yeah,
just at that point, just fucking do it. Like
just
it would be a million times worse to ever back out. Like so really at that point you're in it. You have no choice.
you're there. So like, fuck it, let's
Yeah,
go.
you're there. Yeah.
All right, and so then I'll hit you with this then. What's the
Mhm.
hardest loss you have dealt with, and what did it teach you?
Oh. Um hmm. Man, that's actually a good question. Well, I have two, and I'll make them pretty short then. My first loss was like my fifth fight. And I kind of that fight camp was just like clocking in, clocking out. Like I wasn't really
Mm,
giving it as much emotionally as I should have. So by the time I went to fight, I was kind of like a head case. So that really taught me like, no, I need to be pushing myself to a point where I am questioning like why I'm doing it. Like you need to physically be pushing yourself to a
yeah.
point like where you're having those thoughts of like this is so hard. Why do I keep doing this to myself, you know?
Hmm.
Because I wasn't really like pushing myself to that point. So that was definitely a big lesson. Um, and oh, and I fought like at a weight class above or two, and I was also like learned. I was like, let's not do that again. Yeah. Um, again, it was like actually a split decision loss. It wasn't even like that bad. It was just like, yeah, the girl was bigger than me. And then the other one, I forgot what number it was, but it was my first like IFMA tournament. Flew all the way to Abu Dhabi.
Whoa.
Yes, I didn't do shit during this fight. I flew all the way across the fucking world to not do anything, basically. I got so in my head about the girl I had to fight. It was this French girl. Her name's Nora I can't say her last name, but she's like top 10 in the UFC now at
Okay.
like 135. And she had already had like 40 fights or something at that point. I was like doing fight. Oh yeah, it was like my 11th fight. I was like so in my fucking head about it. And then like, yeah, I just like really froze in there. I lost every round. And that one was hard because I was like, it actually forced me to look at myself and be like, she's not that scary, really. Again, she didn't do anything in the ring that ever put me in danger in any serious way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just had to, at that point, learn how to believe in myself,
Mm.
which was really hard. I just like, I didn't go into fights before that really believing in myself. I went into fights being like, I know I'm crazy enough to just give it my all,
Yeah.
you know? But like, yeah, I didn't like, I didn't always like really believe in myself. And so this actually like required me to like be like, yo, if you're gonna fight these people that have this much more experience than you have to go in with like the confidence that you're fully capable
Yeah.
of like, you know. So yeah. And then that one was really hard, but I still lost the fight after that, but it was like 6 weeks later against a girl who's like number one in the world, Zoe Puderak, at my weight class. And I gave her a run for her money. And my coach watched both fights and he literally was like, you did so well in that fight. That girl she's better than you, period. But it was like, at least I gave everything,
Yeah.
like everything that I had in that fight. So, um, yeah. So, yeah, flying across the world to just like not do shit was a pretty tough loss.
That could definitely be a painful pill to swallow. But, it's funny you say that about like just believing in yourself, because I feel like that can just be like transferred to so many things, like outside of the ring as well. You
Mhm.
see these big challenges, or you hear about these big challenges, or you see these big challenges, and it has like this and this and this and this, and it starts getting a little overwhelming. But like, a little bit of confidence in yourself, and you start going through it, you're like, I got this. Like, it's not as
Yeah.
bad as it seems. So uh
Hmm.
I definitely can understand that perspective. And so
Hmm.
I want to pick your brain about coaching. So, how
Hmm.
did you transition from being a fighter to a coach when you were coaching?
Yeah. So it actually, yeah, it was 2020. Well, I've been coaching. It's a little complicated. I had been at a gym in Santa Barbara. I'm from like a small town outside of Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
like um in like 2018, I was at my ex and I had moved from like LA back to Santa Barbara. So I was at a gym there.
Okay.
And then during like as we were getting out of COVID there, and I was still like going down to LA frequently to TBI to go train and get good sparring in
Yeah.
because it's just hard to get the same level of training in Santa Barbara as it is Los Angeles, specifically at TBI. So at my old gym. So I started teaching at this gym, Paragon. It was a jiu-jitsu and kickboxing gym. I was training there and then they had me start coaching. So it was like first like group classes and stuff. But then I eventually moved back to LA and was back at TBI. Victor, my coach, he had at that point he had known me for like, I don't know how many years I'd been, 6, 8, somewhere in that range. And he had taken me through enough fight camps and then he was like, hey, do you want to coach for us? And yeah, I mean, he's like such a good coach and he really like he'll watch you as a coach too as you're starting. He gives you feedback. And then it just was like reps of coaching. I only did really 2 classes a week cuz I was still fighting at the same time. Any
Yeah.
more than that, it's very hard. So I do like 2 classes and maybe a private or 2 a week.
Hmm.
Yeah, so he basically I mean, basically he just saw that, I'm capable. I had been a classroom teacher for a couple of years too when I got right
Okay.
out of college, so I had some like formal teaching
Yeah.
training. So it was easier to transition into like teaching Muay Thai in a class. Yeah.
Do you feel like teaching a physical skill is harder than a cognitive skill, or vice versa?
Gosh, it depends on the students.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah, like sometimes you get people in a class in Muay Thai where you're like, I just have to explain this once and you got it. And there's some people where I'm like, I've explained this every possible way that I can. I no longer can explain this any other way. I don't know what to do anymore. So again, yeah, it just depends on people's like
Yeah.
physical abilities or like their cognitive abilities, you know?
No,
Yeah.
so I went to school for like psychology and I study a lot of neuro. And one class,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and so one class I took was educational psychology, and I thought it was a very
Mhm.
beneficial class. And at the same time, I was like kind of like, teaching as well, like just
Mhm.
mostly kickboxing. That's kind of like my main background. I love Muay Thai. I love clinching, but I love kickboxing
Yeah.
more. I
Oh, yeah.
I'm a
Okay.
kickboxing fanatic. So no,
Yeah.
like coaching is like a really cool perspective as well because
Mhm.
there's learning how to do these movements, right? And then
Mhm.
it's another skill to be able to teach another human being how to do that skill.
Yeah.
You know that knowledge, but now you got to be like, all right, this is how you do this physical skill. So
Yeah. And
yeah.
to properly scaffold up the skills. So like something that really helped me from being a classroom teacher was like, okay, how to be like, here's the introduction of this technique. Here's how we like put
Mm,
it in a semi-live drill. Okay, and then you keep like upping the challenge, and then it's like,
yeah,
okay, now you're actually expect you to do this in sparring.
yeah.
I feel like that's always like the biggest thing that
So
you're trying to work them. So
I want to piggy off of that one then. So
mhm.
what is something most coaches get wrong when working with beginners in your perspective?
Well, coming from learning under my coach,
Hmm.
I don't think that this was happening at our gym at TBI, and most good gyms, I don't see this, but I think given the like popularity on Instagram of seeing like cool pad work and like all that stuff,
Yeah.
like my biggest things that like I nitpick is like where your feet are and how your hips are moving when you're
Mm,
striking. So I think
okay.
a lot of times people are like, "Oh, let's do some cool long combo with a whole bunch of crazy shit in it." And it's like they're not rotating their hips on their punches.
Yeah.
And like they're like that's one of my biggest pet peeves is you throw a cross and their shoulders are still like squared at you. I'm just like, but no, at TBI we were very good about being like, when I throw a punch, my torso should be twisting around. You
Yes.
know what I mean? Like, so I'm I do notice that at gyms that don't have like they're just newer or like, they don't have enough people competing to test these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to say like where your feet are and where your hips are for beginners to me is always like drives me insane if I see people not fixing that.
So then let me ask you this then. So, because I feel like I'm a big believer we're all students of the game, no matter where you're
Yeah.
at in your journey. You can be 1 year, 5 year, 10 years, 20 years, 30, etc. I
Mhm.
feel like you can always learn something. So, where do you feel like intermediates and advanced students, from a coaching perspective, coaches get wrong when working with them?
Oh, I'm still kind of trying to figure that out
Okay.
too, because like, yeah, uh, at TBI I was not like the way like my coach would be with me. He'd have for like a fight camp, he's like do film study on my opponents and be like, okay, like these are either techniques or strategies that we can use to possibly win. But he would do that for all the fighters, and then as, like, a coach underneath him, I would support whatever his plan was with the fighters, so I would still
Mhm.
work with other fighters at our gym. Maybe they're in their first, like, 10 fights, so I could help them a lot,
Yeah.
but I wasn't really the one, like, designing it. It was, like, he would sort of design, like, what does their camp look like? What are the drills
Yeah.
they're gonna do? I can't say like I'm an expert in that area per se,
No, I got you.
but I do think like sometimes that I have also seen this with intermediate and advanced students. Sometimes schools are still getting like stuck on doing these like crazy long combos and all this like shit instead of just being like focusing on the strategy. And I do feel like so much more of fighting when you're in intermediate advance is just like what strategies do you employ
Mm,
given what's happening? Not necessarily like, oh, I'm gonna like combo, angle out, da 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 da. It should be more like what strategies also are like good for you
yeah.
as the person. Like what's good for me was not good for my training partner Jeannie, and vice
Yeah.
versa. My training partner Jeannie, great kicker. She could kick all day. Her kicks hurt like hell. That is not where I'm like, I can't throw a body kick from everywhere. Like that's just not where I'm like
I
my skill
see.
set's at. So yeah, I think like yeah, strategy should be more focused on in like intermediate and advanced.
Gotcha. More or less about like this is what we're gonna do, and be like more like, hey, this is the objective. This is
Yeah.
how we're gonna operate, and you have to figure
Yeah.
out how you're going. Gotcha. Work around that
Like let's say
objective.
yeah, let's say you go against like here's an example. It's like, today we're going to talk about or we're going to figure out like what do we do if we fight someone who has better boxing than us? You
Mm,
find that out within the first like 20 seconds like shit, this person punches hard. What do I do? So it's like okay, you focus on how do I clinch them up?
yep.
Okay. If clinching is not your game, then maybe you have to focus on kicking. How do I get it where I can kick them right away when they're
Mhm.
punching me? So, yeah, I think that's where like intermediate advanced time should be spent is
Yeah.
like that strategy.
No, I definitely agree. I feel like I've
Mhm.
seen some gyms where I live that are like kind of still stuck on, like you said, like that's I want to say like set choreographed combo, but like
Mhm.
this is the combo we're gonna work on. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, if you're not in that moment and that situation,
Yeah.
you're fucked. Like I don't want to be like
Yeah.
rude about it, but so I definitely feel I like I think it's the new term like there's like a gym where I live, and they like thrive off of this saying, and I hate it now. It's like the ecological approach where
Okay.
everything's kind
Yeah.
of like a game, and it's more like,
Mhm.
hey, here's an objective. How would you use the tools to complete this objective? So,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
they they try to like use science to back it up, and I'm like, shut up, bro. Just shut up. Just shut up.
Yeah.
That's my tangent. That's my
Yeah.
Jakar's tangent for today.
That's funny.
But getting back on it, I kind of want to hit on two more things about your perspective from coaching,
Mhm.
because I feel like I said, it takes a lot to be a fighter. It takes a lot to even just be a student to do martial arts, and then to go over to the realm of coaching, it's like a whole new skill sets you have to learn and have to uncover.
Mhm.
What do you look for someone who has real potential?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I actually have to say that we're really good at TBI of like as coaches, we're constantly sparring with everyone,
Mm,
you know. I even forgot like we have this fighter Maher and I think he's had like 6 or 7 fights now at this point.
heck yeah.
But I remember like we were like training for a tournament together and I was like, "Oh, why'd you end up like fighting with us?" He's like, you literally told me. You said, "Why don't you consider competing?" I was like, "Damn, I forgot about that." And this was when and it like brought me back. It was like this is when he was like such a beginner. He would come in with basketball shorts and a wife beater to training and like
Okay.
he's
Okay.
got yeah, he's gotten so good, but even then when we were sparring, I like sparred with him once and like it was this it's that like bite. So like that thing that like I can tell you're competitive. I can
Mm,
tell that when I hit you, you think, how do I hit her back?
yeah.
You don't start going like you just don't start retreating. I think that's like been the biggest thing is like because that you can't teach. You can't, in my opinion, you can't teach someone to be like I got hit, I'm gonna hit you back. Like to me, that's like something that's just like either you have it or you don't. So
Mm, okay.
to me, it's not even like really physical potential at times. It's more of that mental part because I feel like most people can like if they have that mental part, they'll physically figure it out.
Okay. I can agree with that one. 100%.
Yeah.
Um, it's funny. I was gonna ask you like the next question was like, can
Yeah.
you teach someone with heart? And but you kind of already got into that segment, and
Yeah.
so it's funny you say that. I feel like I've seen people really have that dog inside them, like
Mhm.
hey, like I'm not gonna run away. I also
Yeah.
seen like people where in the beginning they run away, and then they have the beautiful saying, the come to Jesus moment, where you're like,
Uh-huh.
well, I can't run away forever. Especially like when you like spar your first time in the ring. I feel like,
Oh yeah.
once you get under those ropes and you're like, well, in the open mat,
Yeah.
you can run as far as you want.
Uh-huh.
Once you get in that ring, once your back hits those ropes, it's game over. So
Yeah.
I definitely seen a few come to Jesus moments where people are like, all right, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah. I think sometimes those moments happen when it's like, yeah, it's like sometimes that little heart has to get like unlocked
Yeah.
in a moment, and it's like honestly, a lot of those times are surprising even as a coach because like I'll see them and like, yeah, they're hitting pads really well. They're interested in the sport of Muay Thai. They think it's beautiful. They
Yeah.
ask questions, all that stuff. They're being a good student. But like sometimes it's like a sparring session or two where they just got their ass absolutely beat and they're like, I'm so tired of getting my ass beat. And then they just like switch. I've
Yeah.
seen that happen before too.
Yeah. It's funny to see like it's not, there's like a few common like moments, but then they're all handled a little bit differently. Like you said,
Mhm.
sometimes it's like most, I feel like most of the time it is like, yo, I'm tired of getting my ass beat, not in an ego way, but I'm just tired of like getting beat up and having a headache or etc. And you're like, well,
Mhm.
I got to decide how to not be a punching bag anymore. So,
Mhm.
nah, I think that's the one beautiful thing about combat sports is it makes you decide, you know, are you gonna be
Yeah.
someone's punching bag or you know.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I do like seeing those moments. So you kind of like as a coach, like if you do see students who have like the skills, like they're
Hmm.
again, they're hitting pads really well, they're doing all that stuff, and maybe in sparring they're still a little too timid. You just have to learn how to just like kind of keep pushing them past that point until like to be like, okay, not where you're gonna hurt them, but you're like, I'm putting pressure on you.
Yes.
What are you gonna do?
What are you
You
gonna do?
know? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was like coaching up a friend and he was sparring and he was holding back. And I'll bleep this out later on. But I was like, bro, stop being
Okay.
a little bitch and go. Like just stop. I said that
Yeah.
straight up. And I felt bad
Yeah.
when I said it. And then after sparring, he goes, yo, that's exactly what I needed to hear. And I
Oh
go,
yeah.
fist bump, and
Perfect.
kept going on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love that.
I want to hit an angle that's not talked about enough, but getting a lot more recognition. Women in Muay Thai, and I feel like it's grown so much. And
Mhm.
have you seen women's Muay Thai evolve since you started?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, because I started what, 2015?
Okay.
Yeah, it was like around the start of 2015.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like on 11 years now. But um uh yeah, I actually feel like COVID caused a pretty big shift.
Really?
Like,
Okay.
yeah, oddly enough. So 2015, I was looking at Ronda Rousey. I was looking at like the women MMA fighters that
Yeah.
were blowing up at that time. Rose Namajunas, all that stuff. And don't get me wrong, I still watch UFC from time to time. Love Valentina Shevchenko and Rose. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, ugh, just love them so much. And like, I feel like that's who we're mostly looking at. I watched like Tiffany Time Bomb too, like
Yeah.
a couple like kickboxing, but there wasn't like Muay Thai like it is now.
Yeah.
Something about COVID shifted. I mean, also in Thailand, like prior to COVID, women could not fight in Lumpini or Rajamadarn.
Hmm.
So I think it was near the end of 2020, or maybe it was in 2021, where they had like the first women's Muay Thai fight
I
in
do remember that.
Lumpini. Yeah,
Yes.
and it was like Celeste Hansen versus I forget who the Thai girl was, but yeah, it was huge. I mean, and I feel like from there it's just gained more and more popularity, which has been really great. I like, there's a lot of debate going on just in general about like how much the popularity of Muay Thai has like watered down some stuff, whatever. That's
Mm,
just a sport period that's
yeah.
going to happen. But I do feel like it has opened up a lot of doors for women in Muay Thai.
No, like I said, it's definitely have grown. And,
Hmm.
me being out in the Southeast, I've seen more and more women being a part of the community, just like
Hmm.
overriding, kicking some ass, dude. I'm not gonna
Oh
lie.
yeah.
Some of these women's fight, even from like the local scene, yes, like the
Hmm.
professional scene, but at the local scene are some dog fights and some really
Oh
cool
yeah.
technical fights too that I
Yeah.
appreciate. I enjoy seeing. Um, yeah, there's this one female fighter based out in Athens called her name is Madeline. And I
Okay.
swear, if I see her at the gym, I run away if it's clinching. I
Oh
will
my
run away from her. I will avoid her at all costs. Because the moment
Wait,
she
what's her
gets
last
hurt, Madeline, I can never. Hold on. I'm gonna have to like.
I'll ask you for like your Instagram later because I'm like, I don't know too many in the Southeast. The
Yes.
only ones I really know are like from Charleston Muay Thai.
Oh, with yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, with Jeff Grady,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Molly and Ann, and
Yes.
there's like two more. Um, Madeline
They're
Shillman.
all really
Shillman is her last.
showmen.
Yes. Dr.
Okay.
Madeline Shillman. I gotta say that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You should check her out. She's
Okay, I will. I'll
she's
look
a
her up after.
she's a beast.
Okay.
Yeah, you get into clinching range, you better know your P's and Q's. If not, she is
Okay.
going to elbow the new
Shit out of you.
stitches. Yes.
Yes.
And so let me hit you with this then. Like, what challenges do female fighters still face that people don't talk about?
hmm Um, yeah, I feel like, especially in my first like less than 10 fights, I was facing a lot of just, guys assuming I don't know anything when I come in the gym. Like everyone, I mean, luckily now I'm mainly training with people who like know who I am and all that stuff. So it's
Yeah.
like they know to respect me and just the same thing. Like I'll respect them back.
Yeah.
But so I still think that happens and it doesn't happen to me as much, but like it still happens because I have like some of the younger, newer, greener women
Yeah.
sometimes come to me and they're like, oh, this guy like is telling me what to do. And like I have like fight experience, but I'm not gonna tell him and like they're just getting frustrated
Yeah.
because they're like, why is this guy mansplaining fighting to me when I have more experience? You know?
I have way more experience.
Yeah. So I think that part still happens. And then, I think the other challenges too is like, you know, at my point where you're like past 20 fights, like just finding opponents is challenging. It's like
Mm,
because women fight more infrequently than men, just given the volume,
yeah.
it's like people can wait around a long time for a fight and then eventually some people just stop waiting around and they're like, I
Yeah.
just have to stop fighting,
Yeah.
like, and that also happened even like talking to my coach. He stopped fighting like 2010, I think. But he fought at like 120 to 125, which is smaller side for guys. And so it's like it's any like weight or gender or whatever, where if there's fewer opponents, some people just drop off because they're like, I cannot wait around any longer and I have to like continue on with the rest of my life,
Without a doubt. Yeah, it
Yeah.
does become a challenge. I definitely like seeing it here in the Southeast. Like certain weight classes, male or female, it becomes so hard to find opponents.
hmm hmm
And then when you do find an opponent, you still have to like pray to God that they make it to fight day, whether it's like an injury or they just pull out because their fucking thumb hurts, who knows. And so then I'll hit you with this then. What advice would you give to the women just starting out in sport?
Ooh. Hmm. You know what? I actually don't think I've been asked that before. Or if I have, it's been many years.
Okay.
Um, my advice, keep showing up
Okay.
and talk to the other girls in the classes because
Mm,
probably feeling just as like weirdly isolated as you are and being like, because like I remember my first couple days coming in the gym and just being like, I don't know anyone and this is scary. There's like a lot of guys around,
yeah.
you know. So yeah, but I just kept showing up even if it was like all I did was show up to class, not talk to a single soul and then go home, so
Yeah.
it's like yeah, you just keep showing up and try and reach out to the other girls in the class too. Like
Gotcha.
more often than not, the other women do want to talk to you. And if you're at a gym where the other women do not want to include you, that's not a gym to be at and go find another gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. Like I said, that's an angle where I can't really give too much advice
Yeah.
on. So I always
Yeah.
want
Totally.
to like check in
Hear
on
from
that one.
another women. Yeah.
All right. I know I've been hitting you with some heavy hitters, and
Mhm.
I'm not gonna ease up. Um,
Okay.
and so I'll hit you with this one. What separates I wouldn't say too much of a heavy hitter. What separates people who stay in Muay Thai long term for those who fade out?
Ooh. man, I've actually talked about this recently with a couple people.
Yes.
It's for the love of the sport. And like, are you there because you love training with people? You love learning. You love all the things that come with Muay Thai. You don't just love the attention and all the shit you get with fighting. Like, there's a lot of
Okay.
people who fall off because they got a lot of attention. They love people talking about their fighting. They love like all the extra shit that comes with it.
Yes.
It's like the people that stay in there are like, do I love the lifestyle and the sport and the people and all of
Yes.
it? So those are the people that stick with it.
Interesting. No,
Yeah.
yeah, it always like blows my mind where I'm just like, you see it early on. Like I said, I've dabbled a little bit now, like on the coaching side, and like you see so many people have that spark, and I'm like, I need you to keep that spark. I've been telling people a lot, like really just reminding them, like what you said, like what's your why, and tell yourself, remind
Mhm.
yourself, like what's your why and why are you here,
Yeah.
and because that's really gonna like make it or break it. And so I definitely
Mhm.
love that hot take, and I'm gonna get you the last one. 'Cause,
Okay.
boy, I can go on for days. And what is the greatest lesson that Matt has taught you about life?
Oh my God. Whew. Greatest lesson is you are capable of hard things.
Okay.
Like, period. Yeah, like, or capable of handling hard things. I think, like I said, a lot of it when I started was like, can I do this? Like, just constantly being like, am I capable? Blah, blah, blah. I think also as a woman, a lot of times you just don't think you're like physically capable of a lot of things. So for me, it was that. And then like, it's transferred over the rest of my life. If I had not had fighting, I would have not done stuff like I left a full-time job I didn't really like anymore to go be a contractor and make less money.
Okay.
And like ended up that contract job is now the job that I have and I've been there for 3 years and it became a full-time job at a company I love.
Oh
But
yeah.
like that fear of like I can't let go of this like really good salary and this full-time like blah 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 like that was the fear like I couldn't have done had I not had fighting. Like
Yeah.
old Erin was just always afraid of like not afraid of fucking everything. I just was like I could have never done that. So yeah, like so it definitely taught me to be capable of hard things. And then this isn't so much a lesson
Mm.
as much as like it just has opened up my world completely. Like being on the mats every day, I've met so many different types of people. And like I think that that is one of the biggest blessings I've had out of this sport because I grew up in a small town outside of Santa Barbara. I lived in LA, but like Southern California is such a little bubble. But like I've met people from around the world because of the sport and it's really opened up my eyes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing to like be able to connect with so many different people. And
Yeah.
it's funny, you join martial arts, and you can say this about for a lot of things, right? You join a community and you don't really know what it's going to bring. You don't know what's going to
Mhm.
happen later on down the road, but somehow you end up traveling to Thailand, traveling to Abu
Mhm.
Dhabi, traveling to different places, meeting, and maybe it's just like the next town over that you never had a chance to go see, and you go
Yeah.
meet this new person, meet this new place. It's a really cool experience. So,
Oh yeah.
I appreciate you coming on the show, and
Yeah.
I would definitely love to have the honor to have you back on for another episode.
Oh, for sure. Thank you so much for having me. This has been such great questions, such a good conversation. So I really appreciate it.
No, anytime. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I'll have you on the show
Yeah.
soon.
All right. Thank you. All right. See
Yeah.
ya.